Okay, this is the video that I've been looking forward to doing the most. This is my personal top 10 episodes of Buzzfeed Unsolved True Crime. I've said it a number of times in various videos, but to me, true crime is my favorite Ryan and Shane series from the Buzzfeed days. Now, don't get me wrong, Supernatural is great, but to me, true crimes, that I just loved it. I just really loved it because Supernatural was the hunt for ghosts and whatnot, but true crimes, it's like it definitely had that based on a true story aspect to it. So it's like, will the Ghoul Boys finally crack the case? No. I think there was even this great video that came out a few years ago, which was a countdown of like, hey, here are 5 different cases that Shane and Ryan did episodes on, and the mysteries have been solved. So I'll leave a link to that video in the comment section below because I really think you should check it out. It's really cool. Now, these are my personal top 10 episodes. Your list might look different from mine. Keep in mind, there was almost 70 episodes of this series. Yes, True Crimes had almost 70 episodes, so it's pretty wild to think about, holy crap, how was I able to pick 10? There were so many I wish I could have picked, but I took into account things like the topic of discussion for the video, the banter between Shane and Ryan, how many times I've rewatched, that particular episode. So yeah, a lot of thought went into this list. So number 10 was season 3, episode 5, the strange murder of Rex McElroy. And that particular episode stood out to me because it had the question of vigilante justice, whether or not, the townspeople were justified in the killing of Rex. And based on all the facts and details listed in this episode by Ryan to Shane, yeah, this dude, I can see why the town folks kind of rose up to take down this evil because, the people in authority in the justice system weren't able to do anything about him. And this episode truly did, bring up the question about vigilante justice. And I really think that this episode stood out as a result of that. Number 9 is the strange disappearance of Le Prince. And if I screw up some of the names, I apologize. This was season 3, episode 7. Now, believe it or not, even though this was a great episode talking about the invention of motion pictures, the reason this particular episode makes my list is because I think this was the episode that Ryan, you could tell he loved the topic he was going into because of the fact he went to film school and everything. And he even had a moment where it's like, hey, you know what? People say like, there were so many people coming after this guy. He probably got abducted. And, that led to so many different factors coming into play where Thomas Edison probably had something to do with it. And to think that this dude was on a trip. He was going to display the moving picture, what we know as cameras and movies nowadays. Him disappearing on this one day was the difference between him being known by everyone in the world and no one hearing his name until I did this video. And I feel like that was a big thing. So you could just tell Ryan, I think he was more excited doing this particular episode of True Crime than he ever was doing anything, in terms of ghost hunting from Supernatural. Oh man. Number 8, season 1, episode 12, DB Cooper. Classic. I mean, this was probably one of my favorite Shane episodes from, the fact that when he puts on some shades, he kind of looks like DB Cooper, to when he kind of mimicked, him. It's like, wait, he's a college student? And he had a bomb threat on a plane? Do you think after he got the money and he jumped out of the plane, he was like, spring break! Ah! And then he falls on a tree. This is just a classic episode. I mean, I feel like the banter was top tier. And I definitely rewatch this one all the time. Whenever I'm like, you know what? I feel like I need some background noise and I'm actually going to find engaging and get some laughs out of, I definitely throw on the DB Cooper episode. Okay. Number 7 is the prison break from Alcatraz. This was season 4, episode 4. Favorite moment was when the guys broke out of the prison, and then Shane pretended to be one. Hey, if I was one of the guards and I opened the cells like, okay, sir, come on, it's time to go to dinner. And then I go over because he's not moving. Then I shake him, and then I notice that it's like, a dummy head with fake hair. And I go, ah! And then I just start clapping like, they did it. I don't know why. I just love Shane's reaction to if he found one of, the mannequin heads, and then like the hair that was, swept off the floor from like where they cut the prisoner's hair. Basically, when these guys made it seem like they were in their beds, but they had really escaped. It was just a fun moment. And then he's like, hey, you know what? I think prison should be about performing the soul of a man. Since they broke out of jail, they never were, booked for any crimes or anything. So I feel like, hey, let them go. Just let them go. So yeah, this was definitely just a fun episode for me to go back and rewatch from time to time. But hey, I really want to talk about number 6, season 4, episode 8, when Shane and Ryan go on a treasure hunt. And I really love this episode because it felt like it was more about seeing the adventurous side of the Ghoul Boys trying to find the treasure of Forrest Fenn. And you got Ryan looking like Indiana Jones, driving a vehicle around and, looking up and down the hills. And I think one of the highlights is when Shane was saying, hey, well, maybe Mr. Finn's lesson to everybody was, enjoying the thrill of the chase, and the real treasure is the friends you made along the way. And Ryan's like, no, I really want that gold. And I just love the banter between Shane and one of the attorneys at Buzzfeed, where it's the question of, hey, hypothetically speaking, if we find this gold, will we be the recipients of it, or would it go to Buzzfeed? And then I just love the back and forth. It's like, hey, you know what, whose leg are you trying to pull? It's like, you trying to pull some over on us? The back and forth is just crazy. I loved it. We really got to see more of the travel aspect and see Shane and Ryan out in the wild open, just trying to find their treasure. I loved it. Number 5, season 2, episode 1, Axeman. Shane reenacting Axeman and saying, oh, he has a sidekick, Razor Boy. It's like, I love whenever he does like a little timey, old timey radio host kind of voice, like, hey, this just in, hide your axes. Make sure you don't get hit in the head. So yeah, go to your garage and throw your axes away. Axeman strikes again. Whatever he does, it was kind of, it was like 1930s radio host voice. I lose it every time. Plus, yeah, it's kind of freaky, talking about all the various murders that the Axeman committed and the fact that it could have been more than one person. And then when they go to visit the locations of these different crimes, it's really freaky. But then again, that's what this show is all about. So I just love the comedy aspect of it. It was great. Number 4, season 3, episode 6. This is one of my personal favorites. I think I've rewatched this the most. It has to do with the murder of a famous figure in Hollywood, William Desmond Taylor. And again, Shane killed me when he did the impression of like a police officer or something. He's like, a dame, huh? Oh, she wants me to cover up a murder for her. Doesn't matter to me as long as she's smooching me. Well, yeah, again, the fact that Ryan loves filmmaking and whatnot, and he was pretty dedicated to the case at hand. Shane all the while not making it easy on him with his jokes and everything, but I loved it. The fact that, yeah, Hollywood back in the day definitely was really booming. Of course, you had the casting couch, but the fact that, Tyler Perry makes like 50 different things at once at Tyler Perry Studios, but back in the day when the movie industry was first, getting started, they would make like 8 different films in the same room, and it was crazy times. But that's when Hollywood stars were definitely stars, before the days of social media and the internet. It was just a different time, and competition was fierce, as, you could tell by the fact that this dude got murdered. Number 3, season 2, episode 10, the Assassination of JFK. Yet again, Shane is the reason this episode resonates with me so much. I think this was one of the longest episodes of the series. And my favorite line was when Shane was talking about how, the people who should have been doing their job, like inspecting the windows in terms of, hey, are there any strange characters looking at the, the motorcade route, anybody with weapons or anything. Is like, oh, come on, we're not going to do anything about it. Why? It's not, the president, he's going to be fine. Yeah, who's going to do something? It's not like what are they going to do? Shoot him? I don't know why. The way he said that killed me. Then, of course, the Umbrella Man. Oh, yeah, baby, the Umbrella Man. And then Lime Cat. It's just the little things. It's like when Ryan is so serious about covering a topic like this, and then Shane just inserts his Shane-isms, if you will. It just makes the episode. Then, of course, the classic, hey, I know people really want to find this out, but let it be a mystery. You know what? Let it be a mystery, because it's not like even if they found out who killed him, it's not going to bring him back to life. So, yeah, the JFK one, definitely good stuff. All right. Okay, this is another good one. I know I keep saying it, but it really is. Season 2, Episode 6, The Creepy Murder in Room 1046. Yeah, definitely creepy. I mean, there are so many elements of this episode that had me going, wait a minute, this doesn't add up, but at the same time, it's just a really compelling story of this man who's just sitting in his hotel room, and he's brutally murdered. And the question is, who did it? Why? And why didn't anyone on the staff actually do anything about it? Like, they kept calling the room. Nobody would answer. They would say, hey, do you need fresh towels? No, I'm waiting on someone. And then, yeah. But then, Shane doing Shane is like, man, if I worked at this funeral home, I'd say, like, you don't want to, what? Yeah, you don't want this man to be in a pauper's grave. It's like, look, this man was brutally murdered. We're trying to reconstruct his head and everything. I don't have time for this. So, yeah, definitely a great episode. Creepy theme, though. Then, my number one. Season 3, Episode 1, The Grisly Murders of Jack the Ripper. Now, I feel like this is debatably, I say debatably because I didn't go back to see the timestamp, but I think this could be one of, if not the longest episodes of Unsolved True Crimes, because it truly felt like a murder mystery adventure. Because I could be wrong, but at this point in the series, the first 2 seasons, Season 1, it was Shane and Ryan, but first Brent behind the desk going over cases. Then Season 2, I believe, is when they started traveling to the locations of the mysteries. I think that they went to New Orleans for the Axeman episode, and then they went to the Ketty Cabin location, and this was Season 2. But then Season 3 started off with the Ghoul Boys in Europe, in England, which was pretty cool. It felt like, Unsolved was taken to the next level with this episode. There were so many suspects, there were so many victims, and it just felt like this was the true beginning of, oh, okay, Unsolved is like, they're really going to take it there. Okay, this is going to be good. So, yeah, the Jack the Ripper episode, what was my favorite part? When Shane mimicked a bloodhound. It's like, back in the day, they really didn't have super efficient forensic stuff they can use today. Back then it's like, so how do they know how long a body's been dead? They got a hound like sniffing the blood. It's like, oh, positive, died at 2:30, and then Shane's like, he pulled a Scooby-Doo, right, reverting. That was it. I love it when Shane does these little things during the first couple minutes of an episode. It keeps me engaged throughout the entire thing. So yeah, those are my top 10 episodes of BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime. Let me know what your list is in the comment section below. And yeah, check out all the various other content I've done covering Watcher and BuzzFeed stuff on the channel. Like and subscribe, please. I know I say that a lot because it really does help out the channel. You have no idea. 1 thumbs up button. If you're a new person that hasn't subscribed, make sure you do so. Trying to get to 100K on this channel. So, but that being said, let me know, are there any other BuzzFeed or Watch related, topics you want me to cover on the channel? And I'll catch you in the next video.